On September 11, 2001, the world watched in horror as hijacked planes struck the Twin Towers, the Pentagon, and crashed in Pennsylvania. Nearly 3,000 lives were lost in an instant, forever altering the global landscape. This act of terror, orchestrated by Osama bin Laden and al-Qaeda, ignited an unwavering resolve within the United States to hunt down those responsible and bring them to justice. The hunt began immediately, a pursuit that would define a generation and stretch across continents, marking one of the most intense intelligence operations in history. Osama bin Laden, a wealthy Saudi-born extremist, had long declared war on the United States. His radical ideology, forged in the crucible of the Soviet-Afghan War, evolved into al-Qaeda, a global network dedicated to jihad against the West. From his sanctuaries in Afghanistan, he meticulously planned and funded attacks, viewing America as the far enemy. After September 11, bin Laden became the world's most wanted man, his face a symbol of terror, and his capture, dead or alive, the paramount objective of U.S. foreign policy. In the immediate wake of 9/11, U.S. forces, aided by local Afghan militias, launched Operation Enduring Freedom, targeting al-Qaeda and the Taliban in Afghanistan. By late 2001, intelligence narrowed bin Laden's location to the formidable Tora Bora cave complex in eastern Afghanistan. This rugged mountain terrain, honeycombed with natural and man-made tunnels, became the scene of intense fighting. It was believed bin Laden was cornered, a decisive victory seemingly within reach. However, the complex terrain and fierce resistance allowed him to slip away. Despite overwhelming firepower, Osama bin Laden vanished from Tora Bora, reportedly escaping across the porous border into Pakistan's tribal areas. His disappearance marked a critical turning point. The conventional military hunt became a sprawling, clandestine intelligence operation. For years, bin Laden would become a phantom, occasionally releasing audio or video messages, taunting his pursuers from the shadows. The initial pursuit had failed, signaling that this would not be a swift capture, but a grinding, decade-long commitment to an intelligence-led manhunt. The failure at Tora Bora underscored a harsh reality: traditional warfare was insufficient to locate a man meticulously skilled in evasion. The hunt for bin Laden shifted from an overt military campaign to an unprecedented intelligence challenge. It would demand patience, ingenuity, and a global network of spies, analysts, and special operators. This new phase was characterized by a meticulous, forensic approach, treating every scrap of information as a potential breadcrumb in a vast, complex puzzle. The goal: to find the needle in the haystack, wherever it might be hidden. At the heart of this intelligence pursuit was the CIA's Counterterrorism Center, CTC. Established in 1986, its mission was singularly focused on disrupting and dismantling global terror networks. After September 11, the CTC's resources and mandate expanded dramatically, becoming the nexus for the bin Laden hunt. Analysts worked tirelessly, sifting through vast amounts of data, pursuing leads, and connecting the dots across agencies and continents. It was a relentless, often frustrating endeavor, driven by the profound national imperative to avenge 9/11 and prevent future attacks. Understanding al-Qaeda's structure was crucial. It wasn't a conventional army with clear lines of command, but a decentralized, cell-based organization. This made it incredibly resilient and difficult to penetrate. Bin Laden, at its apex, communicated through a highly secure, non-electronic system, avoiding phones and computers to evade detection. The network relied on trust and personal connections, often passing messages through a web of trusted couriers. Identifying and tracking these intermediaries became central to unraveling bin Laden's hidden world. The hunt employed a multifaceted intelligence approach, primarily relying on human intelligence, HUMINT, and signals intelligence, SIGINT. HUMINT involved recruiting spies and cultivating informants within al-Qaeda or its periphery, gathering information from the ground up. SIGINT, on the other hand, involved intercepting electronic communications, analyzing satellite imagery, and monitoring chatter across global networks. This dual strategy aimed to cast a wide net, piecing together fragments of information from both the visible and invisible worlds of intelligence gathering. Early in the hunt, information derived from interrogations of high-value al-Qaeda detainees played a significant role. These sessions, some involving controversial enhanced interrogation techniques, aimed to extract critical details about the network's leadership, structure, and communication methods. While ethically contentious, proponents argue that these interrogations yielded initial insights into bin Laden's reliance on couriers, providing early leads that would later prove pivotal. This intelligence, though fiercely debated, contributed to the foundational understanding of al-Qaeda's secretive operations. A critical breakthrough emerged from analyzing these early interrogations and intelligence. It became clear that bin Laden deliberately avoided all electronic communication to prevent detection. Instead, he relied on a highly trusted network of couriers, known only to a select few. This courier theory became the linchpin of the entire hunt. If they could identify and track one of these couriers, they might, eventually, find bin Laden himself. It was a grueling, low-tech approach to a high-tech problem, demanding immense patience and painstaking surveillance. For years, the name Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti surfaced in various interrogations and intelligence reports. He was described as a protected and highly trusted al-Qaeda operative, a close associate of bin Laden. By 2007, intelligence agencies identified him not just as a name, but as a specific individual, though his real identity was fiercely guarded. This identification marked a significant turning point, giving the CIA a concrete person to track. Al-Kuwaiti was no longer just a rumor, he was a potential pathway directly to bin Laden. Tracking al-Kuwaiti proved to be an arduous task, spanning several years across Pakistan. He moved with extreme caution, employing counter-surveillance techniques, and often disappearing for extended periods. Intelligence teams pieced together his movements through a combination of SIGINT and HUMINT, following faint signals and informant tips. Each lead was tenuous, each step a gamble. The hunt for al-Kuwaiti became a metaphor for the entire bin Laden operation, a slow, meticulous grind, driven by unshakable belief that patience would eventually yield results. In August 2010, after years of painstaking work, intelligence analysts intercepted a phone call from al-Kuwaiti to an individual known to the U.S. This crucial communication, though brief and carefully coded, confirmed his presence in Pakistan and provided a general geographic area. It was the first concrete lead in years directly tied to the primary courier. This intercept was not a direct line to bin Laden, but it was a digital breadcrumb that would eventually lead investigators to his hidden sanctuary, giving new impetus to the long-stalled search. Following the faint digital trail, al-Kuwaiti was eventually tracked to Abbottabad, a quiet, leafy city in Pakistan, home to a military academy. This was a surprising revelation. Intelligence had always expected bin Laden to be hiding in the rugged, ungoverned tribal areas, not a relatively affluent garrison town. The suburban setting immediately raised suspicions. Why would a high-value al-Qaeda operative, presumably connected to bin Laden, be residing in such a seemingly ordinary place, so close to a Pakistani military presence? In August 2010, the CIA located a large, fortified compound in Abbottabad where al-Kuwaiti was believed to be residing. Satellite imagery revealed an imposing structure, notably larger and more secure than its neighbors. Its high, reinforced walls and multiple security gates immediately stood out. This was not a typical residence for the area. The compound became the primary focus of the intelligence community, a single point of interest in a 10-year hunt, offering a tantalizing, yet unconfirmed, possibility. The Abbottabad compound exhibited several highly unusual characteristics. Its exterior walls were between 12 and 18 feet high, topped with barbed wire, far exceeding local norms. It had 2 security gates, an unusual feature for a single residence. Most strikingly, the main dwelling had no internet or telephone service, and no satellite dish, a deliberate avoidance of electronic communication in a modern suburb. Furthermore, residents burned their trash, rather than putting it out for collection. These anomalies screamed security consciousness, pointing to something highly clandestine. With the discovery of the compound, a covert, intense surveillance operation began. CIA teams established observation posts in surrounding buildings, utilizing advanced cameras, drones, and other clandestine methods to monitor the compound 24/7. They painstakingly recorded every movement, every entry and exit, every subtle detail. The goal was to understand the inhabitants' patterns, to identify who lived there, and ultimately, to confirm whether the elusive figure on the third floor was indeed Osama bin Laden. Every single day was a battle of wits and patience. Observations from the surveillance revealed a family living in extraordinary seclusion. The residents rarely left the compound, and when they did, they took unusual precautions. Crucially, a tall, older man was occasionally seen pacing in the courtyard or on the third-floor balcony. He never interacted with the outside world, and his movements were consistent with a life in hiding. Though blurred and distant, his profile matched the intelligence community's long-held image of Osama bin Laden, fueling cautious optimism among the analysts. Analysts affectionately, yet intensely, referred to the mystery figure as the pacer or the man on the third floor. They meticulously catalogued every discernible characteristic, his height, gait, and even the clothes he wore. By cross-referencing these observations with existing intelligence on bin Laden's health and habits, they steadily built a compelling, if circumstantial, case. The sheer anomaly of the compound, combined with the extreme secrecy of its primary occupant, increasingly pointed to one conclusion: this was a high-value target, very likely bin Laden himself. Months of surveillance and analysis culminated in a crucial assessment. Intelligence chiefs concluded there was a high probability or near certainty that Osama bin Laden was residing in the Abbottabad compound. While no absolute, definitive proof existed, like DNA or a direct photograph, the circumstantial evidence was overwhelming. This consensus among intelligence agencies, born from countless hours of painstaking work, was the green light for the next stage. The decade-long hunt had finally reached a critical juncture where action, though risky, became a viable path. In March 2011, President Barack Obama was presented with the detailed intelligence. He was shown the satellite imagery, the surveillance reports, and the compelling arguments for bin Laden's presence. The weight of this decision, to authorize a mission that could have profound international consequences if it failed or was discovered prematurely, fell squarely on his shoulders. For weeks, the president held a series of intense National Security Council meetings, grappling with the risks, the limited proof, and the immense pressure of a nation's enduring demand for justice. Inside the White House, a heated debate unfolded: should they conduct a drone strike or a ground raid? A drone strike offered lower risk to U.S. personnel and could be executed quickly, but carried a higher risk of collateral damage and, crucially, might not yield definitive proof of bin Laden's death. A ground raid, while highly risky for the operators, offered precision, the opportunity to gather intelligence, and the highest likelihood of positive identification. The choice was stark, each option carrying its own set of profound strategic and ethical implications. After weeks of deliberation, President Obama made his decision. He chose the ground raid, codenamed Operation Neptune Spear. Despite the inherent risks, the potential for a diplomatic crisis with Pakistan, the danger to the special operators, and the global humiliation if the mission failed, Obama prioritized definitive proof of bin Laden's death and the opportunity to seize critical intelligence. This was a bold and solitary choice, made against the advice of some senior officials, reflecting the profound stakes involved in this historic mission. The formidable task of executing Operation Neptune Spear fell to Joint Special Operations Command, JSOC, specifically a unit from Naval Special Warfare Development Group, better known as SEAL Team 6, DevGRU. This elite counterterrorism unit is comprised of the military's most highly trained and specialized operators, handpicked for their unique skills in direct action, special reconnaissance, and hostage rescue. Their mission would be executed with precision and stealth, relying on years of rigorous training and unparalleled operational expertise. To prepare for the raid, U.S. intelligence constructed a full-scale replica of the Abbottabad compound at a secret location in the United States. SEAL Team 6 rehearsed the mission countless times, meticulously practicing every entry point, every breach, and every potential scenario. They trained for different light conditions, unexpected obstacles, and various forms of resistance. These intense simulations were designed to ingrain muscle memory and ensure that, despite the chaos of actual combat, every operator knew their role and could adapt to any unforeseen challenge. On May 1, 2011, after a final review of the weather and intelligence, President Obama gave the definitive go order. The atmosphere in the Situation Room was tense, filled with a mix of anticipation and profound anxiety. This was the moment years of relentless effort would culminate. Every person present understood the gravity of the decision and the potential consequences. With the clock ticking, the special operators, already en route, were now fully authorized to proceed with the mission that would seal Osama bin Laden's fate. Under the cloak of darkness, 2 stealth-modified MH-60 Black Hawk helicopters departed from a forward operating base in Afghanistan. These Stealth Hawks were equipped with advanced noise reduction and radar evading technology, designed to penetrate Pakistani airspace undetected. The journey was long and perilous, crossing hundreds of miles of rugged terrain. The operators, silent and focused, were fully aware that this mission, once it crossed the border, would operate outside the bounds of conventional warfare, deep within a sovereign nation. In the early hours of May 2, the stealth helicopters reached Abbottabad, their low-frequency hum barely audible as they descended towards the compound. The element of surprise was critical. One helicopter hovered over the courtyard, preparing to fast-rope operators onto the roof, while the second aimed to land inside the compound walls. The raid had officially begun, breaking the decade-long silence around bin Laden's hidden life with sudden, decisive action. The fate of the mission, and bin Laden, hung in the balance. As the first helicopter attempted to hover, it encountered an unexpected vortex ring state due to the compound's high walls trapping hot air. The rotor system became inefficient, and the aircraft lost lift, crashing hard into the courtyard wall. While no operators were seriously injured, the crash immediately altered the meticulously planned assault. The remaining helicopter, now the sole transport, had to land outside the compound. This unforeseen complication tested the SEALs' adaptability and resilience, but they pushed forward, undeterred by the sudden change in circumstances. Despite the crash, the SEALs maintained their composure. They quickly secured the perimeter and used explosives to breach the compound walls and doors. Inside, they encountered armed resistance from al-Qaeda operatives, including Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti, who was quickly neutralized. The highly trained unit moved with speed and precision, clearing out the guesthouse and the main building. Every step was calculated, every room systematically swept, as they progressed deeper into the fortified complex, closing in on their ultimate target. The SEALs systematically cleared the compound, encountering bin Laden's couriers and family members. They moved through the guesthouse, then the main building's ground floor, and up to the second. The entire operation was fast-paced, lasting only minutes, but felt like an eternity for those involved and those monitoring remotely. The operators ascended the narrow staircases, each step bringing them closer to the man on the 3rd floor, maintaining strict discipline amidst the chaos of a live-fire raid in a foreign country. On the 3rd floor, a SEAL operator confronted Osama bin Laden. Bin Laden, unarmed, peered from a doorway, then retreated into his bedroom. The SEALs pursued, firing 2 shots that killed him. The encounter was swift and decisive, ending the life of the world's most wanted terrorist. After nearly 10 years of relentless pursuit, the architect of 9/11 was finally found and eliminated in his hidden sanctuary. The moment was surreal, the culmination of an intelligence hunt that had spanned an entire decade. Immediately after neutralizing bin Laden, the SEALs performed a rapid positive identification. A female al-Qaeda detainee inside the compound identified the body. Further biometric analysis and facial recognition technology, performed on-site, provided near-certain confirmation. The radio transmission from the compound, Geronimo EKIA, enemy killed in action, echoed through the Situation Room, delivering the news that President Obama and his team had been waiting 10 years to hear. The sigh of relief in Washington was palpable. With bin Laden confirmed dead, the SEALs shifted their focus to intelligence exploitation. They systematically collected hard drives, computers, DVDs, documents, and flash drives from the compound, a veritable treasure trove of al-Qaeda's inner workings. This intelligence, comprising thousands of files, provided invaluable insights into al-Qaeda's future plans, leadership, and operational methods. This data haul was a critical secondary objective of the raid, ensuring that bin Laden's death was not just an end, but also a new beginning for counterterrorism intelligence. As the mission clock neared its limit, the SEALs prepared for withdrawal. The downed stealth helicopter, its advanced technology a potential intelligence gift to adversaries, was destroyed with explosives. The team, along with bin Laden's body and the seized intelligence, extracted safely on the remaining helicopter. The entire operation lasted approximately 38 minutes. They vanished as quickly as they appeared, leaving behind a smoking wreck and a global seismic shift. Mission accomplished, the decade-long hunt had finally reached its conclusion. Later that night, President Obama addressed a stunned nation from the East Room of the White House. He confirmed that a small team of Americans had killed Osama bin Laden in a targeted operation in Pakistan. The news sent waves of relief and celebration across the United States and among allies worldwide. Nearly 10 years after September 11, the quest for justice had been fulfilled. The announcement marked a historic moment, not just for America, but for all who had suffered at the hands of Al-Qaeda. To prevent his grave from becoming a shrine for extremists, Osama bin Laden's body was transported to the USS Carl Vinson in the Arabian Sea. Following Islamic rites, his body was washed, shrouded, and placed in a weighted bag. A religious service was conducted, and then, within 24 hours of his death, bin Laden's body was committed to the sea. This discreet and respectful disposal underscored the U.S. government's determination to deny bin Laden any symbolic power, even in death. The hunt for Osama bin Laden spanned a decade, consumed untold resources, and claimed countless lives. It involved thousands of intelligence professionals, military personnel, and diplomatic efforts across the globe. The financial cost alone ran into the tens of billions of dollars. Beyond the monetary figures, there was the human cost, the families of 9/11 victims, the soldiers lost in Afghanistan and Iraq, and the enduring psychological toll on those who relentlessly pursued this ghost. It was a monumental undertaking, driven by an unyielding resolve for justice. Operation Neptune Spear stands as a testament to the perseverance and ingenuity of the intelligence community. It demonstrated the profound capabilities of human and signals intelligence, combined with elite special operations forces. Yet, it also raised complex ethical questions about surveillance, enhanced interrogations, and sovereignty. The hunt for bin Laden highlighted the long-term commitment required to combat asymmetric threats and the intricate balance between national security and civil liberties, shaping future counterterrorism strategies. Osama bin Laden's death was a significant victory, but it did not end the threat of global terrorism. Al-Qaeda, though wounded, continued to evolve, and new extremist groups emerged. The decade-long hunt fundamentally reshaped counterterrorism, pushing for more integrated intelligence gathering and special operations. While the specific mission of Operation Neptune Spear concluded successfully, the broader fight against radical ideologies and those who seek to spread terror continues, adapting to new challenges and threats in an ever-changing world.